Hello, Internet. I'm Matt Haas. This is Awesome Wood Things. Welcome to another Learn Adobe Now session. I'm thrilled to have you here. One moment. I must silence this other screen. Awesome. Okay. Wow, we've got fun tasks ahead of us. Fun with a lot of learning too, because I was working on a project for myself and I was tracing an object and I realized this object is the perfect thing to learn how to use the pen tool. Why is it perfect? Because all the shapes were like nice, smooth arcs. It was beautiful. I'm referring to Nintendo's artwork, the classic Mario. I'm I have the version where Mario is the Donkey Kong Mario with the hammer, and he's going to hammer the fireballs that are coming down the girders at him. This was for a project of mine. As I said, I'm going to work on a whirligig. There are some whirligig wars happening now. Russ Clarity over on Simply Wooden Creations, he is hosting that challenge, and I think I'm going to try my hand at a whirligig. So I broke out the scroll saw and I started making this Mario character, and it was so good. Well, the Illustrator part, creating the line art was so good and such an easy task. I'm like, people have to learn how to use the pen tool, and they should render this. Too bad it's copyrighted artwork, because I'd love to publish it and say, draw this image, and you can learn how to use the pen tool. I'm going to go into that now. But first, I have some other fun things to show you. My voice is a little scratchy. I am recovering from a cold, and I think I made it worse yesterday. Have some ear issues. I jumped out of a plane at 10,000 feet, so I was had some weird pressure issues with my ear. Oh, Mr. Steve's here from Harneo Media. Hello, hello. We are going to have some fun. Good to have you here, Steve. Oh, and thank you, Steve. Steve's part of the Makers Media Network. It's a Facebook group, among many other things. And there's a store, and my t-shirt is in the store. So you can get an Awesome Wood Things t-shirt. It looks like this on my t-shirt. I'll show you that in a bit. But before I get into the Mario character that I'm going to draw, and Steve, I was telling people that the Mario character is the perfect image to learn to use the pen tool because the shapes are so awesome. So we'll go over a few techniques to do that. So we worked on this last week. This is Abby Cadabby from Sesame Street, and my wife wanted this image to put on a t-shirt. So I took this complicated image. And when I say complicated, all the different colors, it's a little too much. And I simplified it down to this. And then I wanted to show you the final image here. So this is a little, I guess, 20-month-old or 12-month-old, like little t-shirt. Yeah, I think it's 20 months, almost 2 years. And so this is the final output. I like to connect what things look like in Illustrator and what they actually look like in the real world. Now, this is a little funny here. See how it has this halo effect? Actually, I kind of really like that. It's a cool little style. When I turn this into an SVG, I guess it was so complicated. The SVG made these different color shapes, slightly different sizes. I'm not exactly sure why. But in any event, she added the stars and the number 2 because, as I said, this Mava is almost 2 years old, 20 months, I think. And so she did that for her. So there it is, Illustrator to final product. This is the um, second second time I was able to show my audience what we worked on in class and what it actually looks like in the real world when you have physical media, um, which is what I well, physical media, anything physical. Illustrator can be used for entirely online stuff too, and that's fine. But whenever it makes it to physical media, I like to show it. All right. So let's look at Mario. So this is what I found on online. Um, Obviously, it's raster. You can tell we've got the pixels. Raster is another name for pixels. And I like this version of Mario. There's a couple out there with him with a stern look on his face, like he's going to, he's attacking and he's going to crush his enemies. This is more of a happy expression. And this is actually from the Paper Mario game. They had a game where all the characters look like they were cut from construction paper. And that's what this is. So I'm like, yeah, I like that. And my whirligig, I want to have his hand and this mallet moving up and down on the whirligig. So I decided to do that. So this is what I came up with. Oh, isn't it beautiful? I just love the look of line art. I love it. Now there's a few differences here. You notice I took the black outline around the hammer. So I wanted to kind of carry that through. And I had to draw underneath him as well. And I did not add the second hand. So I only drew the arm in the foreground, not the one in the background, because this is going to be a physical object, and I'm going to put an identical hand on the other side. So here's my plan. I'm going to take black acrylic and do this outline, and then I'm going to print vinyl for these other colors twice. And the one vinyl is going to be reversed image. So vinyl is going to be on both sides of um, the black acrylic. And then I'm going to somehow put a pin through it and have it articulate up and down. So let's look at how it is to render this. First of all, I'll this is the graphic underneath. I'll just lock that object lock selection. Boom. And then I like to get my color to be magenta looking or close to it. And get out my pen tool and set the stroke to 1. Okay, that's fine. Now look at how nice this is to render. It's just beautiful. Okay, well, let's start. So we'll start with this. And you can see almost immediately, like it's one line. Look at that. I think I can get this here. I'll try and get this as perfect as I can. Maybe I might have to add another anchor point. Maybe not. I think I got it though. Well, this is a little over too far. Am I getting that weird snap thing? Snap to pixel. This is a headache right there. Get rid of that sucker. Oh yeah, much better. Hmm. Just can't get it perfect. I'm going to add another anchor point on this guy. Here we go. Just going to make some slight adjustments. Yeah, that's better. All right, there we go. Look at that. So perfect. And I'm just going to continue this going around. Okay, so why is this image the best image to trace? Well, it follows the principle of good paths. Remember I said like a good arc, a good rule of thumb is to have each handle be about a third of the distance of the line. So here we have a third, here we have a third, and that tends to make a good arc. Well, that is everything you're seeing here. Hey, make things with Rob's here. Says looking good. Yeah, I'm tracing this image because one, I already did it. And so I'm redoing it here in class. But when I did it, I was just amazed at just how perfect this image is to learn the pen tool. And many things you just need um, two anchor points. Some things you need a little bit more. So I'm just trying to get this as close as I can, and it's just a dream to chase. And so while I'm rendering this, I'm going to be showing you some critical tips along the way. It's not just watch me use the pen tool; it's how these shapes come together and some other critical details. Now here I need a handle going the opposite way, and remember you got to drag out another one. There, its opposite member is automatically magnetized. So I hold the Option key or the Alt key, which is really this anchor point tool, but that's the shortcut for it. So now I can drag it out in a new direction and then get that up here like that. So effortless. How are you make things with Rob? Again, I'm glad you're here. Okay. So now this is the first technique you need to do when you're tracing something like this. So notice how like this shape and this shape, notice how they're very similar to each other. In other words, they kind of go the same direction. Same thing with this outer line for the black and this inner line for the ear. Well, here's what you do. Or more accurately, here's what you don't do. You don't do this. So now I'm drawing this inner ear. And, I'm good with the pen tool, admittedly, although that sounds like bragging. And I'm confident I can get that to where I need it to go. Don't do it. Delete. What you do instead is you get one of them looking good, highlight it, and then do an offset path. So object, path, offset path. And now it's going to ask you for a distance. You want to offset this. So I'll just keep it for by default, hit OK. And now look what it did. It rendered a path that is 10 points away. Now, is this perfect? Didn't quite land where I wanted it to. So I think I'm going to delete that. I'm going to try it again. Offset path, object path, offset path. I'm going to go 9.5. Oh, yeah, look at that. Now, of course, I don't need this outer part. So what I'm going to do is just highlight the new piece. And so it's more precise. Correct. It's more precise that way. make things with Rob asked in the chat. So what I'll do is I'll get my direct selection and I'll shift click these anchors I want to keep. And then see how these are all still highlighted? Delete key on the keyboard. Boom. Oh, I forgot to. Let me shift unselect that one. So these are unselected here and the rest are selected. Delete key. Boom. And it is more precise. Now here it gets a little skinny. Okay, no problem. Just going to move this up here. Kind of restretch this out a little bit. Don't need this little guy. Done. Now that looks much better. Let me change my view. I'll go to view outline. So look at that. Looks much more, well, it looks perfect. What can I say? Because it is perfect because you used the call me Rob. Yeah, you got it. Thanks, Rob. So I'll use this all the time. Same thing with this arm here. Okay. What you need to do is you need to render just one side of the arm. I don't know if I can pull this off with just two. Maybe I can. Okay, we'll call that done. Just render one side of the arm and don't do this. Don't go through the second one. Okay, that looks pretty good, but watch. Now you can tell. You can tell it's not quite perfect. It's a lot more close here. Did you draw this from scratch? Rob asks, did I draw this from scratch? I did not render the Mario character. I got this online. This is from the Paper Mario game. And I just liked it because of, one, it had more detail than the 8-bit version. And two, I'm making this into a physical art piece. And from scratch, yes, I did render this from scratch. I didn't use any tracing. No tracing tools whatsoever. Okay, so now here we go. Offset path. Let's do it again. I'm just going to keep my defaults. Object path, offset path. Nope. See, this is a little different. I'm going to have to go back it down a little bit. Highlight it. Object path, offset path. Let's go 5. Yeah, that's not bad. Maybe 5.5. Object path, offset path. With that. Once again, I will deselect what I want to keep. Hit the delete key. See how all of these on the outside are highlighted or are selected. Those selected anchors, delete key, gone. And there I have a nice arm. Maybe it gets a little wider down here. That's okay. Maybe I'll just move this up just a hair. Move this in. Whoops. Move both of these in just a hair. See how that looks. That's okay. Looks like it gets a little wider down to his wrist, and that's fine. I like the dimension it has. It has it's very subtle but deep. It really is. Now this is the completed. Now I rendered this. This is the completed one. This one has a little more depth. Can you see the shadow? Like the nose is highlighted, and then it gets a little darker. Gets darker under the brim on purpose. Mine's more flat, but still, this has a lot more dimension, even my rendering, than this. Let me show you. See what it looks like here. Look at that. See that? That is what I could have gone for. But and although I love this, I love that image. I really do. I think this is a little more what's the word? Endearing. Yeah. And this is gonna be a whirly gig, and, you're gonna be looking at it from far away, and, it's gotta kinda look like Mario. Okay, so, the offset path, yeah, under the hat, that's great. It really is, and, you could do that. You could add that gradient here in Illustrator too, but I chose not to. Why did I choose not to? I was saying earlier, Rob, that these are gonna be cut out with vinyl, so I'm gonna buy blue, red, yellow, brown, white vinyl, and I'm gonna cut this out, and, the vinyl won't have shading on it, which is fine. And the white, I intentionally did a little gray just so I could, see the difference. And when you send this to the vinyl cutter, if it's a completely white, then sometimes you have problems. Now, just because I can render ovals, like, doesn't mean you should. I can get these looking good, but, why do that? Like, you don't want to do that. Um, of course, you use the ellipse tool, not the rectangle tool. Hold on. Now you might be noticing you have to rotate that, get the rotate tool out. Stick that in there like that. Rotate a little bit more. I'll target here, pick up there. See how it's rotating? I'm going to move it just a smidge. And then I'm going to pull this one back. And then look what I noticed. See, whoever did this knows what they're doing. Since this one's farther away, it's a little bit smaller. So I'll get the scale tool and just reduce it a bit. Just a bit. And then I'll keep it like that. I'll continue this process. These curves are just perfect to learn how to use this tool. Just perfect. I mean, they follow the rules just so exquisitely. Like, again, about a third of the distance, each one of these. The Mad Matt Show. Hey, Jim. Welcome. I'm drawing Mario. See, now I think what I'll do, instead of offset path, notice how this both comes in to a pinch point. I think what I'm going to do is copy this, paste in front. Okay, so now there's two. See, there's two of them there. But I only have the top one selected because I pasted it. And then I'm going to scale. Let me scale this down just a bit. There we go. Well, that gets us kind of close. So you see, whatever I do, I resist the urge to manually draw the companion line near it. I'm going to let this run for Matt's view time, but got to take the dog out. Be right back. Cool. Thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. Yeah, could use some view time. Yeah, I've been looking at the analytics. These sessions aren't the best. Got to figure something out here. Get some more viewers in. All right. So now, and then another thing I like to do is See how these kind of cross each other? So I'll get out Pathfinder, which is probably hidden somewhere. Yep, down here. There it is. Outline, eyedropper, shift click with the direct selection tool, and then delete out the extra piece. Highlight these two anchors and join them. Object path join. So here I used offset path, and here I used scale. Yep, looks nice. Can you see it starting to come together? Just the best image. It's the best image for learning how to use pen tool. I can't get over how good it is. Um, you see some circles up here. Same thing with the circle. I'll just draw that out like that. Might have to rotate this just a bit because it's more of an ellipse. And then copy, paste in front, get out the scale tool, puck down in the middle, scale with the shift key constrains because you don't want it to go like that. You want to constrain it, put that in there. And see this piece here, I stopped. I don't want to do that. Let me delete that. What you want to do is you want to keep going right through, whole way to the end here. That's what you want. This piece, I'll offset path. Miyamoto. Miyamoto says thank you. Yeah. Miyamoto is the former developer and now owner or CEO of Nintendo. He's the man. Did you know I've been watching some um, Nintendo history videos about the company and fascinating stuff. It is so entertaining how they built Super Mario and then how they went to Super Mario 2 and how it was just insanely hard and sadistic and really evil. And then they had another project and there was a big festival in Japan and they were hired to make a game out of the characters and blah, blah, blah. Amazing. It's just amazing, amazing stuff. But I always liked this about Nintendo versus Atari, for example. I like Atari too, but they had two very different philosophies. Atari, and I'm talking the Atari 2600 around that time, any developer could develop for the platform and publish. They had carte blanche access. So what happened? People started making crappy games. And then people were like, Atari, they're no good because the game's all crappy. Nintendo, on the other hand, nothing could get published unless it got their blessing. They had to confirm it was sellable. And in order for it to be sellable, it had to work and had to work well. So when you bought a Nintendo game, um, Rob says Nintendo has standards. They absolutely do. When you bought a Nintendo game, it was guaranteed not to have production issues. Now, in most cases, it was fun. Not every game was fun. So I can't say it was guaranteed to be fun, but it was guaranteed not to be the nightmare of the Atari system where anyone and their brother could develop and go right to market on their own. And it tanked the system. But yeah, Nintendo, they had standards. And they really pushed the system too, because they made sure that that all the resources of the hardware were used properly and not sitting idle. So, they made the backgrounds as good as they could be. All right, now here I have an offset path, but it's not perfect. Do you know they've been around for over 100 years? Yes, wasn't Nintendo they had a different business model before video games. I can't remember exactly what they did, but they started playing cards. Yes, that's it. That's it. Now that jogged my memory. Yeah, yeah. And I can't believe this, but I just found out about the theme parks. I've been saying for years, I wish Nintendo had a theme park with the characters, in costume and the rides. And I'm like, I would be all over it. They're doing it. How did I not know about that? They broke ground in Japan. This is Universal Studios got it. So they're working with Nintendo at Miyamoto, and they signed a deal, and they're breaking ground in Japan, and they're breaking ground in Orlando. So, the Orlando Universal Studios, they're going to get rid of some of the kids area, I think, and they're gonna put uh, m- Super Nintendo World is what they're going to call it. And let me tell you, those rides, it's state of the art. Okay, first of all, they're going to have a Mario Kart game where you race. Another player on a side by side track. Mario Kart is the greatest game of all time. Of all time, coin op or console, the best franchise out there, hands down. But this physical ride is going to be off the charts. First of all, VR, not VR, AR, augmented reality. You're going to put glasses on, and no one knows the details yet, but I imagine you being able to pick up a shell and throw it, and through your augmented reality glasses, you're going to see your thrown object smash into either the neighboring car that you're racing, or some of the virtual character, or not virtual, but some of the other characters that are going to interact with you on the track, because there's going to be some other bad guy players physically on the track. And they're doing things where you know if the track is here and they have columns, they're going to move the columns at you like you're traveling faster than you're traveling. You'll still be moving forward, but in some parts of the ride, the environment's going to come at you faster to make it feel like you've had a speed boost. So like you hit a speed boost. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be off charts. And the other ride they're going to have is the Donkey Kong Jungle, where you're on. Yeah, he wouldn't want to leave. Rob says he wouldn't want to leave with the AR, especially on Mark. Oh, I'm all there. I got to tell you. So the jungle ride in the Donkey Kong other roller coaster, um, the track. There's two tracks. There's a false track that's on the wheels of your car, and underneath, hidden, is the real track. So what the whole point is, Shane's Hobby Shop's here. Hi, Shane. We're going a little crazy about this Mario Super Nintendo World. They're building physical attraction in Orlando, uh, um, Universal Studios Orlando, and over in Japan. So the track you're on is going to go away, and you're going to fly and then re-land on but you're really never going to leave the permanent track that you're attached to, hidden on the bottom. The false track is going to fall away. All right. Bottom line, who wants to come with me when the Japan ride is ready? And we'll go to Universal Studios in Japan and ride that ride the rides there. I'm not sure exactly what rides they're going to do in Universal Studios Japan, but I want to be there for sure. So Shane, welcome. I saw your throwback picture of you and Shelly when you were truck drivers. That was so cool. I had no idea that you did that in the past. Shane and Shelly are like my heroes. Whoops. We have tons of sensors and controls on those things. Oh, Jim Bashirs is here. Hello, hello. I'm drawing Mario. And I'm doing it because the curves are so buttery perfect, so smooth, so easy to render. Oh, I'm messing this up. Shane says it was a blast, his days of riding truck. Hey, Shane, have you heard of a YouTuber? She only does live streams, I think. Her name's Lily Trucker. I don't know if you know Lily Trucker, but no, I mean it's I guess what you would think. It's a woman named Lily who's a trucker, and she does these live streams, and it's very entertaining. I mean, she talks about the business, she talks about her struggles, she talks about her successes, and she's no doubt about it, she's a trucker. Not that and anyway, you might want to check her out. Oh no, Shane got put in YouTube jail for writing too much. Oh man. Shane, do you want the how about I give you the admin privileges? Not admin, what do you call it? The wrench. Let me see. Add moderator. There you go. Shane's Hobby Shop is now a moderator for your channel. There you go. If you refresh, Shane, you might have more privileges now. If you don't want to be moderator, that's fine. You can tell me. Oh, yep, and I'll revoke it. But hey, I don't like people struggling on my channel, so that's what you get. Oh, you're welcome. Okay, he likes it, so that's a good thing. I'm going to continue with my offset path because I just love it. Oh, look at that. So perfect. Look, now this actually gets a little thing. Rob says too much writing question mark. Yeah, the YouTube interface for chat has something where if one participant talks too much, they suppress them. I guess it's something along the lines of they don't want people dominating the conversation and filibustering, I guess, for lack of a better word. So they put in that safeguard. But hey, we're a small, close bunch, and Shane won't. I trust Shane. What can Shane possibly say that I object to? No, don't answer that. I got to Iowa today and forgot my laptop charger. Grr. Oh no, Jim. That's not good. Okay, so I just moved this anchor point here, and now I got a very smooth looking line. I'm gonna highlight what I don't want, hit the delete key, and see I'm just leaving these kind of overshoot right now. I'm gonna use the Pathfinder stuff to clean that up later. As a matter of fact, I think I'll finish off his face here so we can come to a nice completion. There's the fact that he hates bacon. Wait a minute. Jim, are you telling me Shane does not like bacon? I might have to revoke his moderator status. Oh, good. Shane says bacon is my best friend. All right. Phew. That's good. Sure, Shane, we believe you. Uh-oh. Jim, is he blowing smoke? Did he fool me? Shane, don't do it. Be your true, authentic self. Don't cave to peer pressure. Is that even possible to say? If one is to try bacon, one is to love bacon. Rob, preach it, brother. Preach. Did you see that one meme where this little, I guess it must be like kid, might be 1.5 years old. They give him a little strip of bacon and he's on his little high chair. And he takes his eyes light up and he starts shaking and he starts eating more of it. Like, yeah, that was probably me when I first ate my first piece of bacon. See, I noticed this. See how this it had sort of like a bump out here. I'm gonna respect that and keep that on my final here. In other words, it's not completely smooth all the way around. Just a judgment call. It suddenly got all philosophical in here. Okay, well, I'm rendering now, so it's all good. And even these things like this, now, of course, that just looks like a straight line, but don't fall for that temptation. Use a curved line, even if it's just subtly curved like that. Put that in like that. And then I'm gonna finish up this mustache, and then I'm gonna show you how to complete this head shape, which is the same technique for all the shapes all the way around. Shane says, I've seen a picture the other day. Someone was eating a taco, but the shell was actually one made of bacon. Oh my goodness. I was watching a movie on Netflix, Jim says, last night about the Queen of Sweden and how she got to Descartes to move close to her for counsel. I'm not quite sure what that's all about. Bacon shell. That's awesome. See, look at these pieces here of this mustache. Every shape is like the perfect learn Adobe Illustrator shape, where the handles are about a third the distance. Just great for learning. The priest poisoned him with arsenic on a communion wafer. What? Crazy stuff. Oh, and now look at this. Here's another principle of drawing. See what I did here? Look how horrible that is. Well, that's just Illustrator for you. I had to finish this line. This handle had to be as long as that handle. So I had to come back and fix it. It wasn't looking all ugly because I don't know what I'm doing. It wasn't looking all ugly because I need to brush up my skills. It's just the way Illustrator works. All right, now that I got this, I'm going to offset this path. Object path, offset path. And just go maybe 4. Maybe 4.5. Object path, offset path. That don't draw that inner shape. Don't do it. Use the offset path. It'll look much, much better. The problem is you're going to have to do a lot of little selections here. But, selecting is part of Illustrator. You can't learn how to use Illustrator without mastering selection. All right, so now I have a complete head image. Let's just get the outline done. So what I'm going to do is going to select each one of these outer shapes. I'm just going to copy these over here. What I want to do is make this a solid. Look, if I make it a solid now, see, it's not a solid shape. So what I want to do is I want to make these connect everywhere it crosses. So what do? I see it cross there. Let me zoom in a bit. And I'll go to my outline in Pathfinder. Boom. Now remember, it sucks everything to fill with none, stroke with none. Get out just kind of bring that back with the eyedropper tool, and then shift select what I want to keep. Now everything that's left over is still selected. And then highlight these 2 anchor points. Remember, there's 2 anchor points there. One on top and one underneath. Undo, undo, undo. But now they're right over top of each other. So highlight those. Object path join. Boom. Same thing down here. Do these cross? Oh, look, these do not cross. So well, you know what you got to do? You got to make them cross. I'm just going to get my pen tool, clickety, clickety. Now they cross. Highlight these 2. Hit it with the outline Pathfinder. Get out the eyedropper. Restore your colors. Shift or Option Shift. Click what you want to keep. So deselect, deselect. And now I can delete everything else. See how I'm making an outline? These are still 2 anchors here. Oh, more than 2. Make sure you just get those 2. Yeah. See how, look at that. See how there's an anchor there, and you don't want all 3 of them. I just want to highlight just those 2. Object path join. I'm just going to do this the whole way around. Is that 2? Nope, that's 1. All right. Okay, here we go. Do these cross? No, they don't cross. I should have drew these so they cross. So just click, click. See, now they cross there. So Pathfinder, eyedropper, Option Shift, what you want to keep. Whoops. Delete it. Don't. And then highlight these 2. Now don't get all 3. 1, 2, 3. Now there's 2 here. 1, 2, 3. You don't want all 3 of those. You only want these 2. Join. Is this a skydiving image, Wood Frontier? No, it's not a skydiving image. It's a Donkey Kong image of the Mario character with the mallet. And I'm re-rendering it because it was such a joy to render that I had to redo it here in class. But yeah, Wood Frontier mentioned my skydiving adventure. I went skydiving yesterday. That's right. I jumped out of an airplane at 10,000 feet, fell to the ground at 120 miles an hour for about 45 seconds. That's 200 feet a second. And then the parachute deployed. And then the last 5,000 feet, I coasted to the ground on the parachute. And it was terrifying, but fun. And I enjoyed it. And I'm glad I did it. Skydiving is awesome. Oh, cool, Jim. I take it you know that firsthand. All right, so same technique. Shift click what I want. All right, I think I'm ready to go here. Doing these, doing these, doing these. Oh, these aren't done yet. Yep, had 33 jumps in when I quit. Wow, good for you, brother. Man, it was something else, let me tell you. Something else. My son, who went with me, is going to take the class where he can jump on his own. We did the tandem, of course. They make you do tandem first. And yeah, he's going to take the 9-hour class, I think. So he can essentially be responsible for his own life and not put your life in someone else's hands. And he's going to do that. And ideally, he wants to be the tandem instructor and help others go on their first skydiving jumps. Excuse me while I blow my nose. Um, and maybe if it turns into a part-time job, I don't know if it pays. Where we were going, they were all volunteers, but he loved it. Okay, so now I have the outliney shape, and here's what I like to do. I'm never sure if I forgot to close up one of these. Like I'm like, is this so? I this is a technique I like. To highlight the whole path and just go object path join. Okay, you get the error, then you know that no, there are no open paths. But like just for funsies, let me get out the scissors tool. Like let's just say I forgot that one. Okay, so now these are actually an open path. So when you go like this, you can just go object path join. And if you don't get the error dialog box, if you don't get the error dialog box, you know that oh, there was one that got away from me. And so now this can be black. So I'll just kind of keep that there for now. Jim said we had 3 hours and 2 jumps from our we did 3 hours and 2 jumps for our school. Had to jump off a garage roof to practice landing. Jump off a garage. Oh, that sounds horrible. I'm sure it was better than what I'm thinking. All right, do some more offset paths. Try it again, a little bit more. I'm gonna shift click the anchors I want to keep. We tried that with umbrellas as a kid, didn't work. Yeah. It was a hillbilly Southern Alabama school by our Air Force base. What can I say? Oh, man. Crazy stuff. All right, so now I'm just going to try and merge these two together as best I can, kind of fix this up. See the offset path, it can't get you all the way there sometimes, but it can get you close. All right, now I'll continue this same process here. Let me connect these. So I'll go outline, bring back my attributes, shift. I'm going to keep both of these because I'm going to use this for the hair. I'm going to do it with this one. Highlight, bring it back. There hadn't been any Batman movies yet, Shane. 1976 when I did it. Nice. Okay, so now we can start doing the inner shapes. Join this here, and then let's make this red. What color red should we give it? Full on red. How about that? Boom. Yeah. Same thing with this shape. Let's do this. Get all this going here. Hit it with the outline. Bring back its attributes. Shift click what you want to keep. Join this stuff up. Join. Oh, that one was already joined. And then we'll join these two. Oh, see, this is the problem. So we'll just kind of push that away for a second. Join that. And then I'll eyedropper that. Boom. Here, I'll make this white. No stroke. And uh-oh, hold on. Let me go back to this. So I took all the color away because I hit this again with the outline. Bring back my magenta. Join this. Join that. There we go. Look at that. Oh no, I forgot this middle part. Undo, undo, undo. I'm gonna do the same thing over here. All right, so let's try this again. Join the red shape, join the red shape. Bring that over. We'll join it here, and we'll join it here. And now we'll color that white. And now I have the negative space. See how I did that? That's not a rule. This is just a white shape and a red shape. And those are the techniques I essentially did the whole way through. Look at this shape over here. I drew the eyes as black, but they're not black anymore. Whoops, sorry. It's just the negative space. So I've got, the the background here showing through. Same thing with this. See, that's just like this weird triangle-y piece off to the side. But that's the way, because I'm going to make this into vinyl. Thanks, Shane, for the thumbs up reminder. And so when the vinyl cutter runs this, this is going to be the shape the vinyl cutter is going to print. I'm going to stick it on my acrylic black background. This is going to be a whirly gig. And look what I did here. So um, so since this is all one piece, if I put the pin here, it's going to go like this. That's going to be the motion on the whirly gig. Undo, shift, undo, undo, shift, undo. Yeah, that's my goal, is to make this into a whirly gig. But just look at how perfect these line segments were. So easy. About 1/3 the shape, 1/3 the shape, 1/3 the distance, that is. These direction handles, 1/3 the distance. So it's all simple curves, offset stroke, and then the pathfinder, the outline pathfinder, and then stitching things back together. Now this one here, I made a copy, and then I think you can kind of just shrink that a little bit. And kind of get it going a little bit. Didn't quite work out. Same thing here. Make a little claw here. This. claw. It's obviously an ear. But then what you do is you just highlight all of this, hit outline, just like I've been doing. Put that on like that. Delete out what you don't want. You can go, you can go, you can go, and then start joining. Oh, that was already joined. Join, join. I like to use these corner radiuses. And there you go. Look at how nice that looks. That would look very nice cut out there in vinyl. And I was gonna do this too. I don't know, like what Mario character should he thwack with the mallet? I was gonna put a little fireball, but I'm open to Goombas or Koopas or whatever else you think might work better on my physical whirligig, which I'm gonna make out of that character. I tried to cover up all these little things. See these like white dots? Man, drive me nuts. So what'd you think, guys? Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. If you want to learn how to use the pen tool in Illustrator, use a Nintendo Mario character, especially the paper Mario. Now, doesn't matter. Just a lot of fun, a lot of fun. But really, even though there's a million different tools in Illustrator, it really comes down to the same 3 or 4 techniques. Very super easy. Once you master a few techniques, you can do anything. And don't draw those double lines. Use that offset path. It's your friend. All right, I think we'll end it here. Remember, all these shows on my Awesome Wood Things channel, go to Unlisted. Use the link in the Hangouts forum or on Awesome Wood Things Facebook page to find this video again, or you go to Patreon. I have them all listed in Patreon in an easy list. Patreon's the archive for easy access. Anyone with a $1 or more can get access to these. All right. If anyone has any ideas on what I can do for next week's show or any future show, let me know. I might buy a Wacom tablet, so we might do an unboxing. I don't know if I will buy it, but I think that's going to be happening in the future because I want to use the pressure-sensitive tablet on some of my art in Adobe Illustrator. All right, we'll leave it there. Thank you again. Line art rules. JPEGs drool. Bye, folks. See you next week. Dancing girls. I like the cut of your jib, Jim. All right. Bye, folks.